Local time in Tokyo, 8 o'clock in the morning. Good morning, good morning. Minasan, ohayou gozaimasu. We have a cone. There's 2 cones in front of the shop. Without those cones there, we learned long ago, without putting those 2 cones out there, we almost always get somebody parking a car. It's hard to see right here, but the sidewalk has a jog in it. Right where the cone is to the left, the sidewalk is a normal width. And then from the cone going out, it gets wider where those concrete seats are. And that makes a corner on the street, and lots of times trucks and cars will jam in there. So we're not authorized to do so, but we quietly put cones there, and what do you know? Nobody parks there. By authority of Dave Bull, no parking. The rule in Japan on a normal street like this, you won't see any signs that say no parking because the default is no parking. You can't park anywhere that doesn't have a specific line. Now that taxi's stopping. Come on, he's not parking. He's stopping to let somebody off or pick somebody up. The default is no parking. We have another nice warm day. It's beautiful today. We're down on the first floor. So what's the job? What are we doing? Well, I promised you a few days ago, threatened you, said there's going to be no carving or printing for the next little while because it's paperwork for Dave, and anyway, I'm not in that crew. We've got 2 carvers to handle the work. They don't need me, so I won't be using this carving bench very often. So I said a few days ago, my job today is carving. Sorry. There's been a bit of a, I can't say problem. Oh, here we are. Tomorrow's New York Times, October the 5th, New York Times. Oh, big news. Oh, you weren't supposed to see that. It's nothing to do with the show and tell. It's a very, very, very rare edition, hand printed by me at Narita Airport. We'll talk about it later. They have print parties. They have print parties. No, what we're doing is this. The staff upstairs, I know the 9th print in the Dreams of Future Past series, we call it the DF series, the 9th print is going well. 200 copies have already come through. Chiharu-san in Nagano printed them. She brought them in, sent them back, we checked them off. They arrived just before I went to Canada. So I checked them off, sent them through, and a bunch of them are already in the mail on the way to people. But the blocks then went to our staff. Now, you know the deal. I've been the second person in the row printing these because I was out of town. The job has gone to Ishikawa-san and Ayumi-san. And they're now well underway on their prints. They've got a whole bunch of them done already. But they've encountered a kind of a problem, and whatever. It's not a massive problem, but they want some help. In the prints that came back from Chiharu-san, we look at the sky, and this is not one of the rejects. This is actually a reject for somebody else. There's lines in the sky. Now, this is not so bad. I sent out, when I was checking them, if it looked like this, I sent it through. But perhaps you can see here the wood grain on this. Now, a lot of them, the wood grain was quite a bit more visible than this. When we were selecting the wood for it, we want to select clean, flat wood for the sky, but this one had a bit of vertical grain in it. And Chiharu-san, hugely experienced printer, she got through it okay. The ladies upstairs are having trouble. They want to print it twice with light colored pigment instead of once with a deep pigment. It's a long gradation. It's really difficult. We talked about this before I left. It's got to be smooth color, smooth color, smooth color, smooth color, smooth color, gradation like this. It's really, really difficult. So they do it twice, once with a gradation here and once with a gradation back up. And the wood grain really starts to show. So they've asked me to help them out on this. And what we're going to do is this. We're going to carve a duplicate sky block. It might seem like a waste, but we're going to carve the same block twice. Because they are printing it twice, as would I if I were doing this. Because we're printing it twice, the wood grain on any given block, on this block it's that way, on the other block it's this way. Printing it light twice, the wood grain pretty much cancels out and we get a beautiful smooth blue sky with no stress. if we just forced them to go through, you can do it, go ahead, there will be a lot of rejected prints. It costs them time, it costs them money, it costs us paper. So it's far easier for me to spend a couple of hours this morning chopping an extra wood block for the sky. It could have been done that way from the beginning, but whatever. We thought we could get away with it, but we didn't. Paper's out. No, there's no paper out today. There are no printers here. There will be printers tomorrow, but today there's nobody up there. So my job today is this. I have got a sheet of our patented, not patented transfer paper, which has Gampi attached to a stronger substrate. And I will be taking a proof from the key block, not a proof, taking an impression from the key block. I will then do the normal thing we've seen many, many times. I will color in the zones we want to keep, and we'll do a paste on a new piece of wood. We've got a pretty clean piece of wood. This one might have done for the sky the first time. There's a couple of little hard spots. But as I said, because we're going to be printing twice, small defects here don't make a big difference in the finished product because they're going to cancel each other out. Not sure where I should be putting the camera here. Let's see. Whatever, let's sort it out. So that's the plan for the first part of this stream, maybe the whole stream. I still have work to do peeling prints. I'll be doing that for the rest of the afternoon. And we have news and updates, a list I will not be able to get through today. So stand by for a power-packed Twitch stream this morning. Step 1, print the key block. It would also help if I had a piece of junk paper for a test. Just a sec. Someone says, I love this guy's energy. Well, it's 8 o'clock in the morning here in Tokyo, but it's not 8 o'clock in the morning. I've been up 4 hours already. I got up at 4 o'clock. I am bizarrely heavily jet lagged. I'm not on Tokyo time yet, but neither am I on Vancouver time. My body doesn't have a clue what time it is. I'm bizarrely jet lagged. I'll be crashing tonight about 8 o'clock. I'm going to run out of energy and just crash. Okay, we need a Baron. Okay, let's widen out the viewpoint here so you can see what's going on. Oh, it's already as wide as possible. Okay, a couple of other things I got to mention. We will have a little video corner. We're going to have a show and tell at the end of the stream. I've got the show and tell that I promised you the other day. We have a show and tell. We also have a little video corner. It's video, clips of video from when I went to Echizen just before I left for Canada. I had planned on showing you some of that video, and I didn't get around to it because I was out of town. But let's do that. Let's show a couple of clips today from the next YouTube video, which will be Adventures in Washi Part 4. Jet lag means I'm missing Yahoo Auctions. 2 days ago, I struggled through. I got some about 9:30 last night. I caved. I could not keep my eyes open. So I missed a bunch. Tonight, I'm going to try and get on it again. It was funny. I tried to do some of the Yahoo Auctions from when I was over in Canada. The timing didn't work because it's like 4 o'clock in the morning in Vancouver when the auctions come up here, but I tried to do it. And every time I tried to access the auction website, I got a big pop-up advertising the buy service. You've seen this, I guess. I guess most of you, when you try and access Yahoo Auctions, you must get the same ad. Very shallow carving, easy to print, but dangerous. Yeah, John's describing the same thing. He would probably have it a bit even stronger than me because I was acclimatized to the West Coast time zone. John's coming from North America, East Coast, so it's going to be tougher for him, I think. Okay, we've got the key block from the set. I've got a couple of pieces of junk paper for a test. Then I've got 2 sheets, I only really need 1, 2 sheets of the transfer paper. Let's give this a go. Oh, also, those of you who are waiting for a peel, we're going to do a paste down. We're not going to do a peel today. I don't have any 5mm Gumpy. It turns out there isn't any in the building. So the Gumpy we're using today, it's the antique Gumpy that we've got in our web shop. Gumpy from the pre-war period. It's very, very, very thin. So no peel today. We'll paste and carve. If that saddens you, I'm sorry. Okay, just a test with junk copy paper. Oops. All of the paper for this transfer today is dry. We're not using moistened paper for the transfer. There's our key block design. Is this public? Have we shown this before? I don't know. This is print number 9 in the current series. John, what you might try next time, you're talking about the jet lags and stuff, you might try going by Zip, because Zip has a lay flat seat. Not in the back of the bus where I was. I paid $130,000 for my seat in the back of the bus, which is about 1/3 of the price of the gel. But up at the front, they have a dozen or so lay flat seats. I don't know the real price of them, but they're not anywhere near as much as a business class on a major airline. So it might be worth looking into. You can maybe give me a heads up on the audio balance. The door is open, the camera is outside. There's a mic on the camera outside. If the outside sound is too loud, let me know, and I can dial it back. My own sound is coming from the mic right here. Okay, let's do this. I think the block is warmed up now. That's not really a black enough black, but let's do this. Careful, Dave. Click, click. Absolute accuracy is required here. Looking good. Let's do one more for insurance. Pieces of paper are cheap enough. Oh, the vegetable man. He's early. Or he was late the other day, whichever. Okay. No, the cones, they're for, people who come and try and park here. Dropping off stuff is, of course, okay. It's the culture on this street. We wouldn't try and stop trucks like this from stopping to drop things off. Of course not. Our problem is parking. When somebody, maybe they're going to a different street or they're a customer at one of the bars, whatever, they park their car or truck all day long. That's what we're trying to stop with our cones. There's no problem about this. Okay, what I need to do now is look at the sample printout from the Skyblock. Here we are. Here's the goal. Don't see many of those around here, Sean. Don't see too many. Not anymore. Are we visible? Yes, we're visible. That's kind of tight. Oh, look at that. I see there's a little mistake on the blue block. Look at that. Her arm doesn't need to be colored like the sky. And on the blue block we're using is, look at that. There's a little place that needs to be chopped out. Nobody noticed. Look at that. Nobody noticed it. Or maybe it's okay as a shadow. All right, okay. Her close arm is light and her left arm is dark, as is hers. So I guess that was a decision on Taran-san's part when he carved this. No, look at that. Her arm is open. The shadow block must be something else. Okay, I got to take that off. Interesting. There's also decisions here. Taran-san has done the right thing. Whether you bring the blue over the hair or outside of the hair, you can't leave it right at the edge. And he's brought the blue a little bit over the hair. And the blue is not so deep. So the hair, it's fine. It gets picked up and there's no visible line. I'm not sure if it's an error. Don't jump all over this. Taran-san has obviously made decisions here. There's a lot of shadowing and shading up here. On the red thing here, there's a shadow block at the top. On the clothes, there's a shadow block on the arm. And he has used a gray block, maybe the shadow block here. There's two shadow blocks. And he's used some of those on these different elements. And maybe he's used the blue as part of the shadowing as well. So this is, I'm not yelling here, there's a mistake. Looking at the way I think I'll do it, because clearly the other block, we're not going to change this one. So this block will print that. Her arm will get shadowed, but I'm going to leave it off this block. If he was here, I'd chat with him. What did you do for all these things? How did you shade these elements? It doesn't matter. What we need here is a block that will print the open sky and not cause trouble anywhere else. I'm going to be the one who forgets areas here. This is difficult. That white thing up there, is that supposed to be sky, or is that a ribbon that girl's got on her hair? I think that's a ribbon. I think it's a hair ornament. To put blue on that would be strange. I'll give you a chance to look closer in a minute. Let me cover this quickly. Once I've got it filled in, we'll go over it together here. So one sec. There's another issue about this block, what to do with the sun. This print, the block for the sky, gets used. We're talking about using it twice for the blue, but even other than that, it's going to get used twice. The block has to print the blue, and it's got to print the orange yellow, the glow coming up. So the sky block needs this sun shape taken out of it. Now we're going to, like I said, we're making a duplicate block, so it's got to be pretty much exactly the same. If they're doing this sky all the way down, this sun part should be carved out of it to match the first one. But, for one thing, that's not on the key block. I will have to trace it here. And getting the line, the edge of that sun, so exactly the same as the first block would be almost impossible. And when I was chatting with the girls upstairs about this, they're like, Dave, what are we going to do about the sun? And I told them, here's what we're going to do. We will leave that hole on the first block. You print the bottom up orange on that block. There's no problem with wood grain. You do your first copy of the blue coming down on that same block, the one with the sun hole. You're bringing blue here. So that needs to be carved out. But for this second block, which is going to do the gradation again down to only about here, I'm going to leave that solid. I'm not going to carve it out of this block. So they'll have to be careful when doing the gradation to make sure that not a single trace of pigment or water gets down to that area. Well, they can handle that. They can do that. But I'm not going to try and carve the sun because there's no way I would be able to get it microscopically exact. And if I didn't, that would leave it as a fuzzy edge. Compromises, compromises all the way around. So this new block is just going to go straight to the bottom, even including the birds. There will be no pigment in that area at all. Conversation, conversation. We'll have another possible spot for the sun. Yeah, that's also too. That could be carved later, of course. And it could turn out, there's another way around this. The block that I've chosen for this really actually looks kind of nice. And another option here is this block I'm carving could be adequate to print this sky all by itself. And if that's the case, then we toss out the first block, we cut the sun on this one, and we're up and running. But I'm not going to try and match them up. Mission impossible to get them so close that you can't see fuzziness on the edge. Not impossible, but whatever. Tough, 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 tough. Okay, let's get 700 eyes on this. Or whatever's watching today. There's another interesting thing that Taran-san did when he did the color separations here. This is cool. Look at the girl standing here. There's her dress. The part above the railing doesn't have blue. The dress color is dark, 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 dark blue. There's different blocks that are going to make up that color. And Taran-san has left the sky off that part, but he's put the sky on the part through the railing. Look at this. So the dress actually has a two-tone. It's missing the deep, deep, deep shadow here, and it's got the deep, deep shadow here. And I would think he did that to give the effect. The area below the railing is darker and deeper and in shadow. And if I hadn't pointed this out to you in the finished print, there's no way anybody on this planet could tell the difference in tone between her dress, her skirt above the railing, and her skirt below. But to try and fool around cutting the blue out of there, just leaving those little bits, no way. Just leave it solid like this. It's decisions every step of the way. It's decisions, decisions, decisions. I think we're okay. I think we're okay. And we'll leave for later. We're going to try this, work it out, test it, start it up and running. And if it turns out that this piece of wood is so magnificent, we will then do another transfer onto it. We'll cut out the birds and we'll cut out the sun. But for right now, this will do. Let's paste and carve. When's the last time we did this? I can't remember. Where am I going to put that away? Where does it go? There's an empty page here somewhere. Where is it? Okay, here's the new piece of wood. There's a little bit of a quirk on this. We tried to find a nice piece of wood yesterday. It's got some more defects down at the bottom, and the top part is clear, but it's actually quite longer than we need. There's an open space at the top. So I'm going to cut the Kimto so that this thing goes in here around there. And that will give me the cleanest part of this thing. That dot is outside, that's outside. This dot is inside, but we're not going to be bringing pigment down that far. We're good and clear, so we're going to put the thing here. Where's the registration mark? Could I not use the first color block as a key block for the second color block? I think what you're asking is that blue thing that we were referring to. If I had printed one of those and pasted it down, it theoretically says, okay, Dave, just copy this. There's the blue, just copy the same thing. But the part that would be missing there is the lines. And Taran-san, when he carved the sky block, he would have been maybe trying to cut maybe exactly halfway through the line or something like this, and it would waver a little bit in and out. But I wouldn't know. So it's much better for me to just put the key lines down and do the same thing that he did. Make my decisions about where to make that sky block go based on the key lines. So my blue block and his blue block, actually microscopically at the edges, they will be different. But the parts that are different will all be under the black lines. Your suggestion is not without merit. It's okay, it could have been done that way, but I would much rather use the black lines than his block, than the previous block. Again, same thing for the sun. It could be done that way. In fact, if we do the sun, of course, that's the only thing. I will have to transfer. If we decide to cut the sun on here later, I will need the first key block. We'll take an impression from it, pick that paper up, glue it on here, and we'll use that impression for the sun. That's the only way. But for this one, I trust the key lines more, or that's what I want to see. It's the same thing that he saw. Where is this one actually? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Can't see. She printed so cleanly. There's no mess at all. I can't use my jig for this. We're going to have a tap. It's not going to be a loud bang, but there will be a tap if you've got headphones on. I'm going to make a little bit of a tap sound. 3, 2, 1. Was that enough warning? I think so. It was somebody who wrote to me, this is a couple of years back, about the tapping noise, the banging sound. Somebody had been watching the streams at work in his own little office or cubicle there. And he'd had the sound up and the sound down, and he turned the sound up. I was doing something. Then he went off to the bathroom. And while he was off at the bathroom, I switched from carving. I got my persuader out and started banging, banging, banging. And he's got the stream running on his office computer in his cubicle. And he's now gone off to the bathroom. By the time he gets back, there's a crowd around his cubicle. What's all the banging noise in there going on? I don't know if he wasn't supposed to be watching this or not. I have no idea. But I try to warn people when we're going to do that. But whatever. Okay, looks like we're ready. Final check. We're okay at the edge. We're missing that dot. We've got enough room at the top of the block. We've put the sky on the clean, clear, beautiful area. The middle of this sky, right there, falls on the middle of the block, not the slightest trace of wood grain. If we can't make it work here, we can't make it work anywhere. Time for some honey. Wow, it's been so long since we did this stuff, right? If somebody's never seen us do carving, you must be a newbie. Yeah, I think somebody's mentioning over time on these streams there's been far more carving than printing. Far more. It's only this past year that there has been any extensive printing here. This past half a year, really. Do I recall how to carve? I hope there's a Nico Nico mark on there. I don't know. Well, the quick and easy answer to that is I recall how to do it, but whether I can do it or not is a different story. Luckily, the tolerances on this one now are going to be okay. I'm not so sure about my ability to carve delicate work anymore. We'll be talking about that, I guess, over the next few months, I think. A different topic is going to be coming up. Now, honestly, my career as a carver, of course, is over. We have two really, really competent carvers here now, Taran-san and Chon-san. We don't have any, well, we have very, very few competent printers. So we are good to go with carvers. We don't need anybody else for carving. They are both young, they are highly skilled, they are good. So we're not overstocked on carvers. We have good carvers, but we're understocked on printers. So the last thing Mokuhankan needs these days is me to do more carving. We're only doing this one now is because they want this right now. Ishikawa-san's coming tomorrow to test this. So I've got to get this done today. This could have been sent. I could have sent it to Taran-san or sent it off to Chon-san. It's easier just for me to get there and do it myself. And we needed content anyway for this stream, so it's fine. Okay, let's paste this down. I can't cut into it until it dries a little bit. It's soaking wet right now. As you can see, I mentioned no peel. We do not need a peel. Look at this. It's very, very, very thin gampi. It's not as clean and neat as the new ones we get. You can see there's a bit of, there was some lumps inside it. This is antique gampi. Oh, no, with English Japanese. Antique gampi from before the war. We sell this in our shop and online, and it does fine, but there's no peel. No peel. Okay, while that waits for drying, let's look at some video. We're going to Udatsu, you know, the paper-making place. Not Udatsu, we're going to Echizen, the paper-making town where it's all going on. I'm doing YouTube videos. We've got 1, 2, 3, Adventures in Washi. The next video is Adventures in Washi Part 4. It won't be about making washi paper. We're taking one more step back. The first videos have talked about Murata Naho-san getting her workshop up and running, and the previous video showed a basic touch basis on how she does her work from boiling through to the finished paper. The next video is about one of the people behind her who makes the tools. Now, I showed you a little bit of it some months back. I showed you a little video clip. Let's do this first. This is a repeat. I showed you this a few months ago. This is Murata-san on the right there. And this is the lady on the... I've forgotten her name. Arg. It's not a common name, and I've forgotten it already. When Sadako gets here in a half an hour or so, she'll be able to remind me what the lady's name is. And she's a lady about my age, and she used to work in the paper-making field as a paper maker, like Murata-san is. But somewhere along the line, she switched over and started making the tools. And the tool they're inspecting is what's called in Japanese a su. It's made of very thin strips of bamboo woven together with fine silk thread. And what you're looking at is a su that is a double. It'll make 2 sheets of paper. If you imagine that thing split half and half, there's a sheet of paper on the left and a sheet of paper on the right. So the paper maker, once they're up and running, instead of spending the time making one piece of paper, they can do the same dipping, and they get 2 sheets of paper. It's not quite half of the time, but it's really a time. It saves you a huge amount of time. So anyway, to do this, Murata-san needs 2 of these. One of them goes in the vat at any one moment. She scoops, drains it out, picks it up, turns it round, and lays the paper on what they call the post, where the paper is going. She then leaves it there for a minute, uses the alternate su, dip, ready to go, turn around, peel off that one, and lay this one down. So at any given moment, the wet paper on the post is covered from the air. Without that, bubbles form and the resulting paper is not so good. So let's have a look. I took some video, as I said, on the Monday just before I went to Canada. And here she is. There will be a lot of this process, start to finish, in the video, but for here, you can see what's going on. She's weaving it. There's bobbins on the front and there's bobbins on the back. She's laying there's a new bamboo strip. She's laying it in place and flipping over the bobbins. The ones from the back come to the front, the ones from the front go to the back. Oh, it's Anegawa-san. Thank you. Sadako's on the train. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you for helping. And as she weaves this, it comes down towards her. You can see the part we're looking at is the part she's finished already. It's kind of a loom, exactly. It's sort of a loom. But every single stitch in the loom is hand done. There's no way this can be automated. And the whole thing slides back and forth. It's very similar to kumihimo. The bobbins have the silk all the way to the end, and as she works, she unravels the bobbins bit by bit. She's got the bobbins marked with a certain weight. They are lead bobbins, and each one, the weight is really important because that's what determines the tension of the weaving. If the bobbins were really heavy, the silk would be more tense. It's really slow. Has the video frozen? No, she's picking a piece of bamboo. So you can imagine, you saw the finished screen a moment ago in that previous video. You can imagine how long it takes to do this. So she flips the front bobbin to the back and she pulls one from the back. Someone's asking, is it a pattern? No, the writing on the back, we'll talk about that in the video because it's really, really interesting. There's no pattern here. The pattern per se, remember, we're just talking bamboo strips. You saw in front of her is the deck that she's weaving on. Behind that were some canisters with bamboo strips of I think 3 different lengths. There's short ones for the end and 2 different lengths inside. And she's placing them in such a way that the weak parts, the joints, don't all come at the same place. So bamboo strips will be staggered across the length of this so that the weakness of the joints is spread across the whole thing. There's no pattern here that's visible as though you were weaving a piece of cloth. It's really, really fun. And I can't show it to you here today, but in the video we do show. The bamboo strips do not butt. They're less than a millimeter they're circular bamboo strips, less than a millimeter, but they don't butt. They actually climb over. There's a step cut on each one of them and they climb over each other, and that climbing point is one of the places where they're woven. There's a bit more. Let's get a bit closer and see. And there she is. She's matching. There's a step on the end of that bamboo. She's matching it with the previous one that's there, sliding it under the string, and then weave. Bingo. Throw, pull. So they're all jointed, not butted. They all joint. It's crazy. And I had misunderstood a bit when I first, I think when I went up there, I had misunderstood the story. Murata-san had said something, like she found someone to make these, and it's the first time in 40 years she's done this. She's been pulled out of retirement, blah, blah, blah. And no, it's not. She's been making some of these and repairing them. She's the person in the village, I guess, who repairs these when people need work on them. So if I said before, like the first time in half a century, that turned out to be not. So, whatever, we'll talk about the whole thing in the video. I'm not quite sure when the video will be ready because we are now in October, which is insanely busy here at Mokuhankan, but whatever, we will get to it. Yeah, the thread is silk. When I touched it, it seemed sort of stiff and hard, and maybe they've taken the silk thread and waxed it or something. I don't know. We'll learn more about this as we go. Usually with these videos, I know the story I want to tell. So I get a script or a layout or a storyboard ready. Then I go and take the video that fits it. But this time it's different. I don't know how this works, so I can't create the storyboard. So this trip we went up there was simply to watch, look around, chat a bit, take a bunch of video, which I've now brought back. And I will now try, with that video and with the things I learned, I will now try and create the storyboard and the story. And almost certainly it means there will be parts that are empty I have to fill out. So probably it'll be whatever, a month from now or something. Sadako and I will head up there again to try and catch the parts of the process and to catch some video that we didn't know about the first time around. So that'll be it. That'll be Adventures in Washi Part 4 with this lady. Good fun. And there's lots more. There's the Su itself is not the only thing. There's a frame that it goes in, of course. The frame has to be made by the woodworker in town, different person. There's lots more stories. It's never, ever, ever going to end. Also, too, I don't know the numbers on it yet, but that whole town and any area that's devoted to traditional crafts, the people who are doing it, their mindset hasn't changed in ages. So like we were asking about, the price, what's this going to cost? And she talked about numbers that were just like a generation old. I don't have numbers to quote you, but that thing takes so long to make. And the sort of price of a standard Su, the way they price them is in how many vertical columns of weaving there are and by how high they are. So it's like this one we're looking at, was it 25 columns? I don't remember. of a certain length. So they take length times 25, and that's the way they set the price. But the number I heard her mention was like, it was like 30 years out of date. And it turns out that if you take the amount of hours she has spent to make it, divide that into the amount of cost she's going to get for it, the number she first quoted is not even remotely close to minimum wage. So of course we're not going to do that. And I'm in the same position now as I've been with the paper makers themselves. They're quoting me these stupidly low prices that mean they can't make a living or get help in their work. And they're just like, that's the way it is. So we're going to blow it away. We've got resources here. People are pouring Patreon money onto Dave's bank account to support traditional crafts. So we're going to do the same thing. I haven't seen the invoices yet, but we are going to, quote, by her standards, overpay. Not overpay from our point of view, my point of view, and your point of view. We're going to overpay. We can't change the industry, but try and get them to understand that people out there, you guys, want quality products and are willing to pay a good value for it as long as you understand what's going on. So we're not scraping the bottom of the barrel or spiraling downwards. We're trying to spiral upwards. We've got the money in the bank that you guys, I keep using that streamer expression, hey you guys, the money's in the bank from you guys, so we're going to throw some of it at her. But they don't get it. They, meaning everybody up there, they don't get it. They just don't get it. Okay, someone's asking you a question. Where are we going to learn to tie a Baron? That would have been today, except this job came up. Today's Saturday. The Baron tying stream might be Monday, might be Thursday. I don't know, because it's just whatever's going on. I will do it as soon as I can schedule it. Maybe it's Monday, whatever. Okay, let's chop some wood. What's our time? 8:52. Let's see, let's get the camera. We're going to start somewhere around, here. So let's, we can find a zoom. ちょっと待ってください. Do I speak Japanese? Yep, I get around. So, in case you don't know, I've been here now. I'm in the 40th year of I'm in the 40th current year of living here. Next July 1st will be 40 years. So, yep. Yep. Topics for conversation, so many. Which number in the subscription series is this one? This is the 9th print in the set, print number 9. We can no longer talk about months. Earlier I would have said it's the September print. It's not now, of course, because we skipped 1 month, and then for the US-based customers we skipped the 2nd month because the post office is still closed. This is print number 9. Maybe we'll finish by next March, April, who knows. So go back to the previous conversation. Why did I use the key block for this work? I could have transferred the previous blue block. But if it was that blue block, I would have had to microscopically match what it was, because I have no idea. Previous carver Taran-san, this line could have been near that edge. It could have been near this edge, but I don't know. So for me, just to come back to the key block, and I'm just sort of, as a general rule, just kind of splitting the key line. I don't want to go too close to the edge. If I do too close this far, it leaves a white line. If I come too close this far, blue comes into the other area. So for just average work like this, I'm just trying to split that line down the middle. We okay? Are we all visible? Is it clear? Looking good.どうもどうも。あ、ありがとうございます。はい、どうも。はい、ごちそうさまでした。Thank you. I guess you know, we've got the inside of the shutter, the bottom line, we've got it padded with some thick foam. You know, the foam that they use for like things where you bump your head. He hit his head, but it's padded, so no worry. We had an experience, we must have talked about this. There was a young customer, this was a couple of months back. A family had been in, had a good time. We chatting. They got late. The store had already been closed, so the staff member had pulled the shutter down. The family's still in here. They go out. They turn back and say, "Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave." And the young boy turned around and whacked his head straight into it before we had put the foam on, and he started bleeding. He's outside. His mom's dabbing it, and we're out there. Oh my God, get back in here. Let's wash this. Do we need to call an ambulance or whatever? And she's like, "No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay." And they're walking down the street with the little boy's head. Little boy, he's a teenager, good kid, and he's like, "I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay." And there's blood coming down his head. Whatever. So we ordered right away. That we got on Amazon. We ordered this padding and. This must be something for the flea market. I don't know what it is. Just put it aside. We could open it. But it is padded now. It's padded now. Too late. We should have done it ages ago, but whatever. I think better late than never is a thing, so. It's phones, you know. The guy today, he came in here, saw me, delivered a package, and the shutter is right there, clearly visible. I mean, he walked towards the outside. It's not a question of remembering it was there. He walked straight towards it. But you know what's happening? He must have then looked down at his phone to try and figure out where his next job is or what's going on. And while he was walking with his phone in his hand, bang. So I don't know if I should really feel responsible for this. He ducked under it to come in and then walked straight into it, looking at his phone. These areas like this where these trees are, there's no way we're going to sit here carving out the tree parts. It doesn't matter at all. The blue will just add to the texture. The trees are in black. There's probably some green color in here. Let's see if we can find the print. Hang on a sec. An area like this, with the trees on top of that, they're going to end up, what is that? That's this area here. So the sky just goes behind the whole area. The black is what it is. There's some green tree leaves which go and extend over the mountain. And the blue just sits in the back under it all. There's no point in cutting the blue away from those areas. It could have been, if there had been a different color layout, this blue here could have been used to do that green. The blue on top of the yellow would have made green there. But the problem is the blue is fading as it goes south, so then it would have been a lighter green rather than a dark green. So. Baseball, kind of. I got a glimpse of some baseball when I was in Canada last week. My brother was watching the Jays games. I guess it came down to the wire. I don't really know the numbers and stuff, but for a lot of Canadians there, that came down to the wire. They had a magic number at one point, and the magic number disappeared. But they ended up going through. My God, how long has it been since we did this? Months? When was the last time I did any carving like this? I haven't carved any of the prints in this year's subscription series. I did the printing on the first one back in December. Has it been a year or so since I've done any carving here? Was there a fix-up job or something I did? I don't remember. Back before we had the company, before Mokuhankan, when I was working solo, each print, of course, you know, I'd spend X weeks, whatever it was, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, carving, getting the blocks ready, then put the carving tools away, switch to printing and do 2 or 3 weeks for printing, then start the cycle all over again. So I was constantly getting practice at both of them, but I was constantly getting out of shape at both of them. During the 2 or 3 weeks of carving, I'd lose the edge of the printing. The same thing the other way around. So I was always a sort of a B rank person. I wasn't ever on top of it because of all the breaks doing the other job, you know. But now, my God, I've got no feel for this at all. You know, I can do a simple job like this, but I've got no feel for this anymore. A little bit I kind of envy Taran-san and Chon-san because that's all they do, you know, and they're always in shape. You know. Oh, how gozaimasu. Good, domo, thank you. Chakabara janai?
Yes.
Okay, hi, domo. The post office, something it'll be another auction good or something like this. So he's got it. He's been here often enough, but he's not watching his phone. Whatever, he got through it. I did some repairing, added something to a kite. That's right. I did the kite blocks for print number whatever it was, 8. This is 9. That must have been 8. Yeah, I did the kite blocks. That's right. And the shirt, yes, okay. So I have been doing a little bit here and there. Okay. I wasn't claiming never, but yeah. Would I undertake another British Museum hokusai carving? No, I'm out of that game now. Absolutely not. There's no way I could do that properly. Absolutely not. The idea is on the table to do some more of those. The museum side wants us to do more. Hello, you're here. Wow, 908. Soka. Have you been?
Hi.
You get space to come in and say hello?
I'm going to change the shoes.
Okay. Sadako's here. I haven't seen her since before going to Canada. So the shutter waits patiently for its next victim. Thank you for the help earlier from the train. I forgot that lady's name, you know. It's a rare name. I can't, even just now, you told me a half an hour ago, but I can't remember. What is it?
Anegawa.
Anegawa. Have you ever heard that name before, ever?
Yeah, me too.
I mean, you've never heard it, right?
Either.
Yeah. Here she is. Oh, this is in the way. So let's move that away. How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. A couple of weeks.
How are you doing?
Can't be helped. Family emergency. I had to go. How's it been? Looking by the numbers, the shop has been busy. So crazy busy.
And I was also busy with exercising.
That's not busy. That's fun. You know? Whatever.
So much fun.
When Dave's out of town, she does twice as much exercise, or whatever.
Yeah.
So.
After taking several lessons, go swimming. Oh, David can't do this. I can do that.
It's okay. This is not a competition. I'm a professional woodblock maker. You're a professional exerciser. Whatever I do.
I enjoy my free time.
I don't know what the word means, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, anyway, thanks for doing the crew, the weekend cruise. The last weekend.
Nothing special as usual. We worked on a regular basis.
There's a bunch of stuff to do today, some light stuff. And when I got back, I went through the shop. Gee, looks nice, looks nice. Oops, that's missing, that's missing, that's missing, that's missing.
Missing.
So we found things that were not here. So yesterday we prepared some packing stuff. So for the crew today, you and me and the others, there's some packing stuff to do. That's catch up, stuff that was missing from the shop. So it's okay. The shop was working well, sales were going well, people were doing their jobs. But when I'm not here, it's missing that last thing, going through and looking for this and looking for that, the general overview.
And so we have to find an appropriate boxes. For shipping, or packing. Packing means, okay, now
packing for the shop,
packing.
Not for shipping, I'm sorry, not for the shipping. So. There's another problem too. While I was in Canada, the system over there, the Canadian Post Office is now on strike. And it's going to be a big one, and it's going to be a long one. So America now is out for us at the moment, and now Canada is also down.
DHL.
For bigger stuff, but for small subscription prints, it's impossible. You can't spend $30 shipping a subscription print. So whatever. So they're telling stories, all kinds of stuff. It's a big sports moment at the moment in North America. The baseball season is coming to the end. So it's a big, the chat today has been full of various baseball chats.
Okay.
Back on carving, so.
Back to carving before show and tell time.
Show and tell, I know there's something I can't read, that there's an Adachi stamp on the back. So when we get to show and tell.
Let me know.
Okay, show it to you, yeah, all right. Give it a few more minutes, just let me finish off one bit. Yeah, okay, thank you. Be right back, finish this corner and get back to show and tell. So I'm saying still no fix in sight for US. It's going to be half a year or something at the earliest before the post office will be back for small commercial shipments, what they call packet shipping, packet light or small packet, stuff like this. I think I'm being optimistic when I say it's going to be a half year. We can still ship to the US by per relator FedEx, but we can't do that with a subscription print that costs $50 when per relator is going to charge $35 plus a customs charge plus a tariff plus whatever. It just doesn't work. So at the moment, subscriptions to the US are sliding through sneakily by airmail. Those of you who are in this, you already know. And Canada now is toast. For post office shipments, small packets. So I'm saying, what was the news link I put before the stream? Okay, let's do that. I've got 2 minutes left before show and tell, so let's show you this. Somebody, I knew nothing about this, but when we were in Echizen a couple of weeks ago before I went to Canada, we were chatting with Murata-san, and she had mentioned something about BBC. And I didn't catch it. The conversation actually went a different way. We didn't catch it. But I looked it up later when I got back, and it turns out the BBC was in Echizen just a short time before we were there with a film crew. And they took a 4-minute little news clip, which you can see. It's on, I think this is a link to maybe the BBC website, or it might be a YouTube video link. I don't know. They have got an interesting clip of one of their correspondents going to Echizen, chatting with the people at the Udatsu Craft Center. This is where Murata-san used to work. So the scenes you were going to see of the people picking chiri and making paper, whatever, the first group of scenes are the Udatsu Craft Center. And then they went over to, I guess it may have been the Heizaburo workshop. I'm not really sure about that. And the correspondent got a chance to make some paper. So it's a 4-minute clip of the same town that our paper is made in, the same shrine and the first workshop, Udatsu. It's cool. And the correspondent, the young man who did this job, boy, oh boy, oh boy, he's, whatever, you can see the video, you'll see what I mean. He's doing an incredible job in kind of difficult circumstances. It's worth taking a look at. Okay, let's put this aside. Let's look at our show and tell. Where are they? They're all mixed up now. One sec. I can't find the first one. They're in mixed up order. Just a sec. Okay, these are a batch of prints that came to us from an interesting source. You know the deal. Sometimes we buy from Yahoo Auctions, sometimes we buy from here and there. We're not an actual member of the Koshokai, the Used Book Dealers Association. They're not in any hurry to let new members join, and so we're not in all the dealer auctions. But we do talk to the dealers over there all the time. And what happens in an interesting thing is lots of the dealers, they end up getting prints that don't suit their particular market. Like some of the shops, for example, don't do tourists at all. There's a couple of shops that just do high-end original prints, and when they end up with a box of stuff that's more suitable to our tourist market, they want to get rid of it. They know about us, we talk to them, back and forth it goes, and we get sometimes prints from those guys that are really, really, really nice prints, and they know they're really, really nice, but they just don't want them because it doesn't suit their market. You know, these, for example, these first two, these are reproductions, not originals. And the business who is selling only original work doesn't want this. So our team knows about this, and last week our team got a bunch of very, very, very interesting prints. When I came back from Canada and I saw these, I was thinking, oh, this looks kind of like Takamizawa, because Takamizawa has been making prints to look like originals at this time. They were making forgeries. And this print has been toned, it's been torn and fixed, it's been hand painted, and it really looks at the time like it was made to be a forgery. But this is not Takamizawa. There's a little seal on the back. And this is the seal that was used by a man called Toyohisa Adachi, who after making some of these as a producer, decided to set up as a publisher and started the Adachi Hanga Company. And that would have been in maybe 1923 or something. But this is the stamp he was using at the very beginning. It's pretty vague. Can you read this? And some of them are better. If we try and find, oh, this one's a bit, look at this. This one's, let me get it under the camera. Hang on, one sec. Wait, where's the camera? Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Adachi, we can read that. It's hiragana.
Moto.
Moto, I was trying to read hanga. It's not. No. Okay, I get you. Wait, one sec. Adachi moto.
からこれとToyohisa's to.
That's his name, Toyohisa Adachi. So just a to in the middle. What's this part on the side?
I asked the calligraphy teacher. She
No
can't
way,
read.
no way. I don't know.
Either.
This is pretty blurred. Well, maybe one day among all these we'll find one that is much sharper and clearer. Yeah. We'll figure it out one day. I'm really, really sad that I'm getting these now a little bit too late, because Isamu-san, the guy who ran Adachi for the second half of the 20th century, passed away last year. And it would have been really, really cool to take these over to him. You know, I mean, he would have known about this, of course, because he knows his own company's history. But we got a bunch of these. And for me, the interesting thing is this. It's pre-Adachi. Once Adachi got set up and running as a company, they set a different tone for what they were doing. They decided to make prints that looked brand new. They don't do anything that is toned and buried to make it look like an archival print. All of Adachi productions, from when they became Adachi Hanga in the late 1920s, look clean and sharp and pristine. So this is from an era before Toyohisa-san took up that policy. I don't know if these were intended to be forgeries. It wouldn't make any sense to put your stamp on the back if they were, but they were made in that feeling, to make a print that had the look and feel of an old print from the 1700s. And the quality level, the level of carving and printing is beyond belief. These were here, they came in while I was over in Canada, and the girls knew I would be interested, so they held them aside. And of course, there's no way these are going to go through with a task sheet into the shop. Dave is stealing these, and they knew, they're good ladies, they know how this works. But yesterday, they opened a package upstairs that came in, and I heard, and Watanabe-san was here yesterday. She used to be our flea market manager. She now does just 2 days a week, sort of part-time. She's off on different things. She opened this, and as it happened a few minutes later, I was going through the room, and she sort of covered it up. And she knew where this was going to end up. So there's no real thievery here. But she covered it up. And I looked at her and I said, okay, what is it this time? And she's like, she really, really, really wants to put these in the shop. But she had a print that, and I've been in the business now. I've been in the business for 50 years. She had a print that stunned me. Absolutely stunned me. I haven't taken it out of the plastic yet. This is another adachi from pre-adachi. And there's going to be not really possible to show it to you. It's going to blur. It is so, come on, focus please, focus. Ow. It's so well made. It's kind of beyond belief. It's a reproduction of an Utamaro print. And if we had the original Utamaro side by side, hands down, this is better because they've got the same mood of the Utamaro original, but they're trying to make it perfect. The carvers in the old days, just let's get this out of the door. It's good. They were good people. But Adachi is trying to make it perfect. And in a way, it might make it too, what's the word, too technical. But oh my God, this rings Dave's bell. Every aspect to this. I know. And this is gradation.
Yes.
Look at this one. The gradation on this blue. This has been printed twice. Not one of those dots has glue in it. So this not only has the look and feel of an old era Utamaro print, it's carved, I mean, whatever. You could do it in China now with microscopic lasers and millimeters and machines, but human beings cut this. I don't even, how do I express this? See the black line here, zoom, zoom, zoom. Utamaro, whatever, took his brush and did a brush line that had just dripping, wet, smooth, liquid taste. And the carver has done, he's caught every bit of, yeah, look at this. So she's right. The arm comes down and then the brush starts there and flows out. Whatever, I'm running out of words. Just the taste in these lines is inhuman. I can't carve anywhere like this. Taran-chan probably thinks he can. Ha ha ha. Chon-san thinks he can. These guys are just, they had rock hard wood, they had perfect blades, and they had 60 years of experience. Each one of these lines, it's tears. I'm looking at this yesterday. I can't say I was crying. That's an exaggeration, but close to it. The quality. And the paper, my God, the paper. So the date here, we're looking at 1920, early 20s, somewhere around there, before Adachi became Adachi. So as soon as I saw this, I'm just like, thank you. And she just handed him over. She knew the end of the story. She just handed him over. One of them has something interesting. I have never seen this before. On the back of one of these, this is a Sharaku print. On the back of this one is a label we haven't seen before. And again, this is made by the people who became the Adachi workshop. And it says the producer is Adachi Toyohisa. But it doesn't say Adachi. Oh, Sadako, maybe it's a bit clear on this one. Maybe it's a bit clear. Can we see?
Adachi.
Again, Adachi going down this way. You're covering the camera. Okay. And then Hamoto. And
distilled.
And what's on this side? I don't know.
Adachi ha.
Look, it wouldn't say Adachi hanga hamoto. That doesn't make any sense. Adachi ban, Adachi han, maybe. There's also something else we've never, ever seen with this. It says limited edition of 100 copies, and this is number, and somebody has written in pen 48, and then he's crossed out the 8 and put 7. Is it an 8 that's missing? It says number, it were written, but it was an 8. He said 48, crossed out the 8, and did 7. And that makes no sense. If you're numbering them, I had 41, and then you do 42, and then 45, 46, 47, 48, and then you do 48 again, but you've already done 47. So was he doing them backwards? He did 49, 48, and then 48. Oh, nope, cross, that should have been 47. He's been numbering them backwards.
Yeah, between 47 and 6 and 7, he had to go something. had
Okay.
to do something.
Okay.
And coming back.
And if he wrote 48,
this-
that would have been correct. How can you do 8 wrong and you correct it with 7? Only if you're counting backwards.
Some
I
interruption
don't know. I don't know.
might have happened.
I don't know.
Interesting.
So, and as again, it doesn't say anything about Adachi, but it was a limited edition print. The other ones don't have this. This is wonderful, wonderful documentation. I tried to pick one. We've got the same print in the shop here. Morning.
Morning.
This print, to zoom out a little bit, I wanted to show a comparison between, you know, modern prints and the older prints. So I've got another one here. It's slightly smaller size, slightly reduced. This isn't Adachi. This is Yuyudo. And if you had just this print by itself, and we've got it in our shop, it's for sale, it's okay. It's okay. Well, we're happy to sell this. And what's the price? It's 2,500 yen in our shop. And here we are, the one we're selling now. And it's okay. The hair is nicely carved. There's 2 layers. There's delicate lines and there's a stronger line. Look at this. There's no gradation on the kimono, but it's nicely done. Is there a slight gradation in the middle? I don't know.
I think so.
So there's nothing to be wrong. We're fine with this. For 2,500 yen, what's that in dollars? I don't know, like $16 or something. So this is our normal prints. We sell something like this in our shop. We're quite happy with it, but the difference between these two is just incredible. And the shop we got it from, they're like, we have nothing to do with this. They're sending it out because it's like not good enough for their normal customers. And Dave is just drooling out the side of my mouth, you know. The difference between these two. This is nice. Well, here, that corner then that Sadako pointed out. Here's the arm coming down, and then somebody picked up the line here. And there's the line. You can see those curvature lines. It's nice. Nothing's wrong with it. But just, and this is the difference between the first generation, the guy who started the company, and he knew he wanted to make stuff that just kicked ass. And then here we are. This is the 3rd generation in this company, Yuyudo. This is not the owner. This is the 3rd generation. And they're like, it's okay. And sort of, it's okay. But the difference between the guy with the vision and the guy who's just doing his job. So there you are. When you're in Mokuhankan, looking through the corner over there, I got good news and bad news for you. We have really nice prints at a really reasonable price, but you're never in this shop going to find the absolute perfect peak one, because I steal them before they get to the... I'm not supposed to say things like this, whatever. But I'm going to steal this, of course. If another one comes, it'll go in the shop, but it sure won't be 2,500 yen, that's for sure. So I shouldn't say this, whatever. Things are what they are, can't be helped. Yeah, that's open to you. I didn't get this from Yahoo Auction, but stuff like this does come up on Yahoo Auction all the time. I'm either in bed, or I didn't catch it, or I got outbid on it. You too actually can own prints like this. Good morning, good morning. The crowd is gathering. We have to open a shop. We all have a ton of work to do. It's time for me to check out. I'll see you Monday morning. I might be here fixing prints. I might be doing sizing. I might be carving this block. I have no idea. Oh, or tying that baron. I have no idea. See you then. Let's get the outside camera. They're all trying to be super quiet at the moment because we're not finished yet. Just one more minute, ladies, okay? Here we go. Here's the outside camera. It's going to be a busy, busy, busy day in Asakusa. Okay, thanks very much. I'll see you in 2 days. Bye for now. 3, 2, 1, over and out.